when you look at what's happened over the last 24 hours in Ukraine and look at how this war is progressing, do you feel that Slovenia is potentially a future state at risk?
First of all, good afternoon, especially to you, reporting from the very sensitive, dangerous zone. Yes, we are all at risk, because if Ukraine is taken by Putin, then this is not the end. We know this from the history. Europe is now in the same situation as Europe was at 1939, when Poland was attacked. If Hitler was stopped at that point, Europe hadn't faced 6 years long Second World War. It's as crucial as this, and we have to be aware. So defending Ukraine is also defending Europe, and it's also defending Slovenia.
Do you fear this is the end for an independent Ukraine?
Well, first of all, I think that what's going on in Ukraine, this is massive suffering. And we in Slovenia, we know how they feel, because 30 years ago we were in the same situation for 10 days only. Then we prevailed, but we were attacked by the Yugoslav Communist Army, which behaved very like Russian army is behaving now in Ukraine. We knew what will happen when the aggression started. And I think that we have to do everything to help Ukrainians to defend themselves. We have to help their refugees, and we have to give them hope. This is why we launched the initiative to take them into European Union as fast as possible. This is not about the procedures now, it's about the hope, giving to the people, giving them feeling that they belong to our family, giving them strength to defend themselves, telling them you are part of us. We will do everything we can to help you, to defend you. You're also fighting for Europe.
Yeah, and that is something that I think is mirrored in all the other countries that are taking in these large numbers of refugees. And there seems to be so much generosity from so many people in so many parts of the world towards them. Aside from the humanitarian aid that many people are giving, what about the reaction of NATO? Do you feel it has been strong enough?
Well, NATO is an alliance responsible firstly to defend our own members. Currently this is happening. NATO hasn't been so much united as it is now, I don't think, in any time since the end of the Cold War. But it's not enough. According to my opinion, we have to. It's proper that NATO is not directly involved in the conflict with the troops on the ground. But currently we have to do everything to strengthen the air defense of the Ukraine. Ukrainians are asking us to introduce the no-fly zone. Some of our friends are very afraid to do this. There are reasons behind this position. I proposed to introduce no-fly zone in Ukraine before the conflict started. If this has happened, then Russia would take all risk with starting the war with the NATO. In practice, maybe this is not so simple, but now there are two options regarding introducing the no-fly zone in Ukraine. First, we have to be aware this is Ukraine, this is not Russia. If this no-fly zone is introduced in Ukraine, then this is on the call of sovereign leadership of this country. And Russia has no, according to the international law, Russia has no say in it. This is not speaking, this is not talking about introducing the no-fly zone about a Russian territory. This would be threat to Russia, and this would be a real start of the conflict, theoretically. In practice, situation is different. And I think that NATO has to do everything to strengthen the air defense of the Ukrainian army, of the Ukrainian air forces. NATO actually has means to do this. It will take longer. And as you said recently, there is also a possibility to introduce a limited non-fly zone to serve a humanitarian purpose only. I think that with the combination of these two last approaches, we can help Ukrainians a lot. We can help Ukrainians a lot, and with helping Ukrainians, we are helping to defend Europe. Imagine if Ukraine, country of 40 million, is taken, and we do nothing really enough to help them. What those who are against helping to Ukraine will say when Putin will go further to Moldova, Georgia, Baltic states, the same people will say, oh, this is only one small country of 2 million people. Why to risk war with Russia, which is nuclear power? Well, this is the same debate as has happened in the 30s of the last century, and we all know what were the consequences. So time to be very serious, time to react is now. And I'm very glad that I see the unity inside of the European Union and also inside of the NATO, which we have never faced during the last 3 decades. And this is giving hope not only to me and to the Slovenians and other NATO members, especially those who are on the border with the war zone now, but also to the Ukrainians. This is the place where strength for them is coming.
Janez Jansa, the Slovenian Prime Minister, a pleasure to talk to you today, and thank you for explaining what the people of Slovenia feel about this. Thank you.